Warning, this video is intended for audiences who are 13 or older. If you are not 13 or older, please fuck off and tell your parents to moderate what you watch online.
Alright, Tariq, hey. So unfortunately William cannot be with us as we record the Revice review that we just finished watching last week, right? We are definitely recording this, I don't know, I'm gonna say an approximate 2 months later, you know, on a weekend where there's like no Kamen Rider airing due to the fact that golf takes priority over television broadcasts in Japan, apparently. Really weird,
television broadcast
right?
of fucking tokusatsu shit.
Yeah, right. And, like, apparently golf has apparently on the priority scale in Japan, golf beats everything. You know, right? It's like if it's golf, you're not gonna air that weekend, right?
It's golf or go home.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, is that the slogan, right? Look, the emperor loves golf. All right.
Hey, look, I watched.
Decrees, you know?
I watched.
Hey, look, if golf is on, nothing else airs.
I've been watching the Chainsaw. Look. All I know is that the Chainsaw Man dub coined the line "It's nuts or nothing" in regards to Denji kicking Aki in the fucking nuts over and over again. And I'm now I'm now trying to turn everything into a nerf or nothing like parody. So golf or go home is the first one.
Oh boy! Oh, have you been able to use that in like any hypothetical election that's gonna come up in 2 months from now? You know, right?
Oh boy, it's. Hey,
look, I was on Twitter last night, and
oh boy, that's dangerous.
I'm gonna be on Twitter in a few months, right? And I hope that Red Wave is trending, you know, right? That'll be a great. And then I hope I see a tweet by Ben Shapiro that says Red Wave is more like Red Wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a funny tweet if Ben Shapiro tweeted that out at like I don't know, a hypothetical 3 a.m. in the morning, right?
Yeah, at some point in time.
Yeah, right. In 2 months, you know, right? Because as you know, it is
yeah.
It is August 7th. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right, and we don't know what's gonna happen in 2 months from now. You know, right?
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows where things are gonna go? Maybe I'm hearing a lot of weird things about this Herschel Walker guy.
Yeah, I wonder what crazy politician am I gonna learn about in 2 months. You know, that I've never heard before until now. Right? Hey, look, that's one thing I do know. Hey, look, Dr. Oz seems like a trustworthy guy. If Oprah backs him, right, I bet I could trust Dr. Oz, you know, right?
Oprah's definitely going to continue to back him. Yeah, who knows? Who knows what was a mess? You know what isn't a mess? The entire Republican Party. There's no way they could possibly fuck this up for themselves.
Right.
Somehow, against all odds, there's no.
Look, I bet in 2 months when Elon takes control of Twitter, it will be a better place. You know, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to. I can't wait to eventually get my blue check mark someday.
Hey, look! Hey, that'd be great if in the future everyone could get a blue check mark in 2 months. You know, right?
It would also be great if everybody could just become Elon Musk.
Oh, become Elon Musk or become a parody of Elon Musk.
What's the difference?
Oh, you're right. Alright, hey, it's Kamen Rider Revice, the review.
Yeah, the review of Revice. Here we are. We are gathered here today to put to rest the child that tried.
Boy, hey, you know what the funny thing is? So, as the time that we're recording this, right, there's been no more Revice media announced to premiere, right?
Are we not counting the wedding thing that got announced?
Oh, that's a Saber-related media.
Oh, right. Oh, fuck. Shit. What? Wow, I have PTSD. Holy shit.
But,
I just saw that, and because of, like, the girls' remix thing, I fucking, associated fucking Sabella as Revice shit. That's how fucked up I got by this shit. Oh, boy.
And look, you know what they say, once you start Saber, it never ends.
Yeah. But yeah.
Hey, it's the Revice review.
Yeah.
And everything. Boy, hey, look, alright. All right, how do you want to approach this? I forgot how we approached this last year with Saber, so I don't remember how we approached this. Right?
I mean, we gave some kind of review at the end numerically.
We talked about
also we just talked
Saber.
about the plot. I came to realize. I'll start this off by saying I've come to realize what I think the biggest issue I have with Saber is. Not Saber. Fuck. Oh god, Revice. God damn. Is I think that you can see the core turning point of the series right after, like, once Akaishi gets involved, and once, like, the Deadmans, like, threat is properly, like, finished in the first half of, like, or the beginning of, like, the raid on their fucking gang club, whatever shit.
Disco
Their
base.
floating jellyfish
Nightclub,
base. Because the issue with Revice, and I think the unfortunate curse that it had, right up from the get-go, was it was this show that was premiering as the 50th anniversary or whatever of Kamen Rider. And so they felt that they had to make it into a legacy series, and they had to make allusions to previous series.
Right.
But all of that stuff makes it so much more complicated and leaves so many more things, like, open-ended that, like, it detracts from the regular plot, because you're going into it expecting it to have some payoff. There's like, between all of the Kamen Rider shit in all the referential Kamen Rider shit in Revice, they made a Chekhov's gun that they couldn't possibly fire, right? There's all this stuff that gets built up.
That they literally changed the plot at the last minute for the show.
Right, but that's what I'm saying, is, like, you can see where that change in plot, you can see where it shifted. That hard turn is right after, because up until then we're getting, like, a form every week, like a new form or whatever that's, like, referencing stuff, and you know, it's all about that.
And George is showing off his cool toy collection.
Yeah, all his cool free like CSM props that he's definitely not just stealing and taking home.
Right.
But, like, and then it just shifts from there, because once we get to the super forms for Revice, for Revi and Vice, right, and all of the stuff that gets way more into, like, Gifu, and even the Veil stuff, right? That's when it just shifts to almost an entirely different plot. Like, fuck Deadmans, fuck all this other shit. Like, yes, that's relevant, but it's more about, like, the whole, there's a whole bunch of different plot lines going on, and all of the stuff that was going on before is immediately irrelevant. But you're still left with these questions of, like, okay, but so why, how are there what are the references to, how do you have Kamen Riders but you don't, I don't understand how this works. How does this work? This doesn't make sense. And if they hadn't set that up in the beginning, I think it would have been fine. I think it would have been able to hold itself semi-competently. But it really, like, became so much more of a roller coaster because of that stuff that it included.
Yeah,
about, like, trying to make all these references.
They never do anything, right? The one thing, like, no one at any point ever says anything about it, right? Like, no one says, hey, George, nice belt collection you got in the background. Right? You see George play with it, but no one ever goes like, man, boy, hey, I know we're in a professional business place, but I don't think you should be bringing your action figure. You know, you don't even have a cubicle to put, like, I haven't said you have a cubicle, you put, like,
you want to have, like, keyboard decorations or whatever stuff around your
you want to
desk.
put, like, a little stuffed toy, you know, right?
Yeah.
Like a pot of plant. No one goes, okay, but you have an open office, you know? And I understand this open office is pretty barren, but hey, right? You want to put up a motivation? You want to put up a poster of a cat hanging instead, George? You know, like hanging there? You know? Right?
The other thing I think is, and I guess this is also related to the Veil stuff, or the post Deadmans raid stuff is once George's dad comes back from the dead. I say come back from the dead, but like once he reappears into the picture, it adds so much more. Like he does explain things, but he explains things in a way that makes the plot more convoluted, and it becomes like, wait, so you put the Gifu cells into the dad, and the dad pass it down. The dad has amnesia because he got bonked hard. What happened? And then you've been hiding for 20 years without saying anything
in your former house's basement.
Yeah, and no one ever looked back.
It just occurred to me now that the fucking weekend base was in their old fucking house, and he's just hiding in the basement.
Yes, and George actively went to their base and never said a fucking thing about, this was my childhood house, you know. Yeah, I mean, mind you, well, okay, so theoretically, I guess the weekend base is like a huge underground, like interconnected chamber or something.
Yeah.
Like the main entrance that everybody keeps coming through, right? Okay, presuming you can go through other entrances, right? It's still connected to the stairs that lead up to the house. There's no way that George would have come to their base and not, like, taken the time to figure out where the fuck he was going, like, where he was, and be like, pretty sure this is... If I'm following the map correctly, this should be directly underneath my childhood home. Right?
What a weird coincidence, you know.
And also, also with the implication that his dad died when he was a child, right? Like, even if George, as an adult, like, you know, moves into the helicarrier, right? The FENIX helicarrier, it seems weird that he would have never gone back to his childhood home, or at least seen it. Like, if he's that close that he could be there at any point in time, and the Igarashi family, especially when he's, like, visiting Ikki and stuff, is down the street from it, and it just seems weird that he would never, like, go,
right, like, I would argue an argument, right, they would have done was that he had such a traumatic experience that he blocked it out of his memory, but it's clear when it shows that he does it, he actually remembers everything from his childhood, he's like, but he just actively decides not to do anything about it. Right? Like they had, like, an argument for years, like, why he never visits, like, oh no, I had such a traumatic past, I blocked out that memory of my childhood, right? But it doesn't. It's clear he remembers everything from his childhood, just dad being a bum dad that left him as a kid, you know?
Yeah.
Right?
It's... The series is, I guess... I don't know how to break this down into, like, an organized review, but I would say the plot had a lot of issues, and it forced characters to make decisions that
the plot was
fundamentally didn't make sense for all of its characters. Yeah. I think it was juggling a lot of different ideas that it couldn't possibly conclude on all of them. Like,
that's why we have expansive media, you know. You love checking
out like stage plays where we can introduce more Kamen Riders. Why?
Oh boy, hey, have you read about the stage play for Revice yet?
I saw some of it get, like, recommended to me in my like YouTube algorithm, and so I saw some of it, but I don't know what the fuck else is going on in there.
The plot of the stage play is actually insane. And so you know how last year we were complaining about the Saber stage play and it being canon, right?
Yeah.
Hey, you're gonna be. Hey, look, they explain a lot of stuff in that stage play, you know, that they're just gonna ignore later. It's like the exact same thing about how in the Saber stage play, they're like, here's the Faucian sword, check it out, you know, right? Hey, Toma, don't forget about this. Don't say this sword's been lost for 10 years, 8 years into the future, you know, and you haven't seen it since then, right?
Yeah, right.
Hey, look. If you remember that scene in Dark Sides of Dimension when the feral spirit showed up at the last minute?
Yeah, and you just have to go, what? How? Where did this come from?
Hey, look. there's a real Pharaoh. The spirit of the Pharaoh comes back, even though the Pharaoh's supposed to be dead.
I saw. That's what I saw from the fucking the fucking the little thing that got advertised for me, and I went, sure, whatever, I guess. I don't know, man. Fuck.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane how they keep making. Because I think we talked about it with Willie about how normally these stage shows aren't canon to the actors, and that they're literally just done because the contract with the actors are about to expire. They need to get them out, get every single set they can before they actually go get real careers, and then go online and say that, hey, that working for Toei is such a terrible place, right?
Yeah, this shit's weird. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hey, it is super canon.
Yeah, I bet it's fucking real weird. I don't. Yeah, look. We made jokes before that it felt like the ending felt like Yu-Gi-Oh, but I mean, it's really Yu-Gi-Oh right now. But yeah, so I'd say the plot is the biggest issue, which is a big issue for an entire series to say. But that being said, there are, as a series for the characters that it created, I think it did a lot of really good things with, I think that for the plot of, main character with spirit friend, Kamen Rider, situation. We've seen this before with Den-O, we've seen this before with O's. I think that they did a good job of creating a believable relationship between Ikki and Vice. That was actually, one of the more competent things. I'd also say, despite some of, Sakura's power-ups, quote-unquote, she did actually have, a decent, she got decent, not representation necessarily, but actual, agency within the plot for a while. It's still not perfect, but you can tell by the way this series treated the characters of Sakura and, what was her name? Not Aguilera, but whatever the fuck.
Hanna?
Yeah, but Hanna. Those characters, it seems like Toei is trying to do better at making female Kamen Rider characters. Not just female Kamen Rider characters. Not just female characters in Kamen Rider, but female Kamen Rider characters. They're not just, repaints of the other Kamen Rider, and they're not just
just girls.
They're not just girls. They're not just fucking
look. You don't like,
for instance,
you don't like Kamen Rider Poppy's design.
That's what I was about to say as an example. It's there's Kivala, which she's cool, but she's just Kiva, but a girl. And then there's Poppy, which is just holy fucking shit! Wow. I think you just set back equal rights for the genders about 30 years with this. Holy shit! You made Kamen Rider Barbie essentially, and I it's bad. This is bad, guys. You gotta scrap this.
It's a good thing we won't ever see her again. Right?
Yeah, not even mixed up. We'll never get mixed up in her shit ever again.
Yeah, good thing we'll never see her in a mini-series ever again.
Yeah. Daiji was an unfortunate fucking character in terms of writing. He existed to basically make bad decisions over and over again, and just have an inferiority complex.
The way that they were introducing his character was a good thing of being in his brother's shadow.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't know what he was expecting. Oh boy, hey look, I'm the second son, right? Right, boy, hey look,
well, that's the other thing, right?
Is his big hey look, I'm the one with an actual job, right? I may be in a paramilitary organization, but my brother is 20. Fuck, I think we've been over Ikki. I think
he's 20. Ikki was 22 at the start.
Right,
of the
my brother's
series.
22, and he still lives at home, mooching off the family warehouse. Right, I've actively like, hey look, FENIX might be a paramilitary, but they're paying for my college education though.
Yeah,
right?
It's the GI Bill. I'm getting my college paid for so long as I can participate in the demon war.
It was clearly successful that he was the more successful of, right? Because Sakura was still in school, so you think, I can't compare myself to my sister, you know, right? But like if you actually like in a comparison between him and Ikki, right? Daiji was actually one that was actively progressive in his life.
Oh yeah, right? Especially when you get to the parents, because it's like, okay, so we run a bathhouse, that's fine. Our dad is trying to be a fucking YouTuber, like, and he's not doing good. And he's doing
loves
like
50-year-old guys making videos on the internet, you know, right?
I mean, it works for Joe Rogan. Wait, how old is Joe Rogan? Is Joe Rogan? I mean, I'm just looking. Joe Rogan is 55. Absolutely, yeah. I was absolutely correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all the like they keep portraying like Daiji in his brother's shadow, but it's clearly obvious that he wasn't in his brother's shadow, right?
Yeah, it's very weird that he
no actual favoritism being portrayed.
Yeah,
if they were actually show that the families were favoring Ikki more at certain point in the show, though, I would have understood his character, like, oh boy, hey, I hate my family, you know, boy, I can't believe they love, but like it's clearly from the show that's never presents us at any rate that mom and dad was like, hey, all right, here, Ikki, here's your gift, and here's a box.
Yeah, know, I mean, right? I think it's for the Ikki Daiji thing. I think most of it is that he feels like Ikki got it without like earning it. Became sort of the de facto, Kamen Rider, without having to try. Like, he succeeded where he failed. Mm-hmm. Like, Ikki succeeded where Daiji failed. But he, even from the beginning, when we are introduced to the Kagero situation, right? It's always based off of this, like, weird inferiority complex that he has. And I get it to an extent.
Right, even after with Ikki, like, his family doesn't even start treating him any different.
Right.
They're just like, right, like, it would have been a good direction to show if, like, after Ikki gets the belt, his family start like, hey, Ikki, thanks for saving us. We got you this gift. And Daiji, here's a box for graduation, you know?
Yeah,
right?
Or, hey, we're having dinner and you're not invited.
Right, like they acted like so, yeah, so I understand like Daiji being mad, like, oh man, I went to military school, you know, right? Now I couldn't use the ability Ikki did on his first try, you know, right? I understand that, but then it doesn't show that like there's like a bigger rift between them, right? Because the family dynamic is pretty much maintained the same throughout the entire show, right?
Yeah.
Between them, like if they actively show that the family will start actually put like a little favoritism towards Ikki after the whole belt incident, it would have made sense for his character to be like, man, hey, I really hate my family. I really want them all to die now, you know, right?
Yeah.
But it's not the case. So his argument like, hey, boy, I really want my family to die, right? It just gets worse and worse. It just makes like he's like a sociopath in his family.
Yeah.
Right.
No, Daiji is just constantly being like, he's really like the younger brother that like the family doesn't hate. He's Kanye West. That's what he is. Okay. He's Kanye Westing himself. It's like, listen, we all love you, we care about you, we understand that you feel this way. We also think that you need to start taking some medication, or at least go to therapy. Like, you have the insurance for it because of your fucking goddamn paramilitary group. Go use it. Please use it. Like,
hey, look, I'm pretty sure that nurse is also a therapist, you know,
ooh,
right?
that nurse, though.
Uh-oh, boy, I actually forgot about that nurse until I said it. Said it.
I was gonna say, because I'm looking back over the wiki just to remember all the characters, and it's like... So, FENIX, right?
Yeah.
FENIX is a weird thing, because I think as an organization, like, in the plot, it works very well for the narrative. You know, having this sort of government paramilitary group that is, supposed to be helping the people, and then it's like, ooh, scheming the behind the scenes, blah blah blah.
Secretly, they're the one that's paying people to.
Yeah,
to
they're the one funding
building.
they're the one funding the terrorists. Ooh boy,
right?
You know, there's something there to that, and you know, oh, what are these mysterious ways in which they're making belts and stuff? But there's so much of it that is unclear as to like what the structure was supposed to be and who they report to, and like I understand that it probably was very like it was probably a lot easier for them to just say, yeah, we have a helicarrier and it floats around the city and don't ask questions about where it is, because that takes away the question of like, where's this building in and what city are we in? It's like, nah, it's just fucking floating around. But
yeah, that was like I was really confused, but even when I literally thought it was just like another director that came in to replace Wakabayashi, right? I was like, oh, okay, here's the replacement. Then we found out like, oh no, he's the actual director of FENIX. Like, oh, okay. I thought this was gonna be like a Steel type of situation where like,
right,
hey,
oh yeah.
Right, but then nope. It's just this old man is in charge of the. Hey, boy, hey, let's put an old man in charge of the military, you know.
Because there was some point where he's like, he's talking to like some group or whatever when he's like reviving Gifu, right, or Gif, whatever the fuck people want to call him, you know, is Izu fucking, you know, it's all the same, Gifu. But like, there's some point where he's like talking to a group, but he's clearly the one leading it. And once we learn more about his backstory, it's like clear that this has been his plan all along. But there aren't. It's weird that he got this far into it without anyone else supposedly picking up on what he's doing and also questioning him, or be like, he's done this. It's made to look like he has done this basically. He has manipulated this single-handedly. Like, yes, we had the Wakabayashi replacement from like day one. Yeah. But other than that, and George being ambivalent to whatever the fuck is going on, so long as he gets to have his research.
Hey, look. And you always say you always want to hire an employee that's not loyal to your company, you know, right?
Listen. George is playing both. We'll get to George, the god that he is, at some point eventually. But basically, FENIX as an institution seemed like
a very good idea,
like, right? It seemed good on paper, and then the more that you like that it came out, it just felt like I feel like they should be doing better.
Actually running this,
I feel like this should be for the amount of
like they should be. They're losing money, you know, right? They're losing fuck. Hold on, let me. They're losing. Oh no, that's user. Fuck. I know he said it. How much they were losing per day? They're losing like $3 million per day, you know, right?
Wait, what are you basing that off of?
Of a decision that will happen in 2 months, you know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
right?
I know what you mean now. Yeah.
Like when you look at it, you're like, oh yeah, this is a good idea. But when you actually investigate, boy, hey, this company is not making money.
Yeah, this is not handling itself well.
They should start charging their employees $8, you know,
$8 a month so that they can keep their belts. Yeah, your subscription service belt at Kamen Rider. That's Kamen Rider subscription. That's what I want to see.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah.
It's just something where it's like, based off of the funding that they have, you'd think they'd be doing better, and this wouldn't be the balance of this fight wouldn't fundamentally change simply because we made one belt that works and can get like one random person to use it, and then it just spirals out from there. But you know, hey, FENIX gives us Hiromi, it gives us George, it gives us Akemi. There's actual, it at least creates a sense of like there are actual adults like dealing with this. Like, this is in comparison to right where we had Saber. You know, Saber, we were going, okay, but there's literally no police handling this situation. There's literally no one addressing the Megiddo.
You don't like that secret swords society.
I'm just saying, there's nobody doing anything, and also the closest thing that we have to a hospital is the bed in the base. Like, that's where you go to lay down if you're feeling hurt. That's the best that we can do. That's the best that they do in the entire fucking show. So, but I'd say FENIX isn't as good as, what were they in 01?
What?
Was it Ace? No, it wasn't Ace.
No.
It was it Ace? Was it
Ames?
Ames. I knew it was an A and an S. Okay. Yeah. Ames. Like, Ames was just, like a experimental, like, police force, basically. Like a subcontracted, like, police force, basically. Like, that was company, like sponsored, essentially. Like, it's like if Amazon was like, hey, we made some cool new, or Apple made some, like, cool new fucking tech to help the police track down criminals. We're funding and we're giving the California Police Department, the LAPD, all of this new equipment to test it out on the field for us, and we're sending in a field supervisor to, like, maintain the equipment. FENIX is like what everybody, like, the ultimate fear of, like, defund the police, because it's just like, wow, this is way too much fucking money for them to be doing this poorly at it. Like,
right?
But hey, we at least got fucking, like, a shit ton of Kamen Riders out of them, because...
Hey, look! You say what you want about FENIX, but it got results, you know, right?
Yeah, they got us results, and by results, I mean it crashed into the fucking Tokyo Bay.
Twice.
It crashed
Twice.
It crashed twice. Once in the quarry, and then once in the Tokyo Bay.
From, like, a timeline perspective, like, what is it? That was like within 3 months of each other, right?
Hold on. When I'm gonna look at this episode title because
when did Hiromi Hiromi died? What,
when
27?
Hiromi quote unquote died? It was 21.
Okay.
Is when Hiromi goes down for the first time. Because Olteka steals the Demon's driver.
Yeah.
And then it's... Let's see.
21. What's in February? Okay.
Let's see.
What?
It's either 35 or 36.
All right, that's May.
Let's see.
Yep.
Okay, it's 35. It was episode 35.
Yeah, so, like, that's like within 3 months, right? Look,
so 14. Crash? Yeah, so May.
Yeah, that's within 3
and then
months.
February, then May. Yeah,
right? Like,
3 months later.
If you have one crash, that's understandable, you know. Like, all right, you have one crash, whatever, not a big deal. But the fact that you crashed the helicarrier within 3 months, like, boy, hey, we should start investigating to see who's in charge of the chain of command here, you know, right? You know what to say? Crash the helicarrier once, shame on me. Crash the helicarrier, shame on you. Crash the helicarrier a third time, boy, that's going out of taxpayer money.
Yeah, maybe we should stop buying helicarriers.
Right?
Maybe we can get a hover carrier that's just a hot air balloon and it's just floating and it just floats in, like, low orbit around the...
Just get a
blimp. Just get a blimp. Let's just get a... Nothing's ever gone wrong historically with a blimp, especially one that's filled with military incendiaries. Nothing has ever gone wrong with a blimp.
Right?
Well, historically.
Helium based, you know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, FENIX had good ideas, but it was just like when you kept looking, I was like, how does this organization actually works? Right? It made no sense, because I think FENIX was only operating within, like, this one area of Japan, right? If this was like a whole cross country thing, it would have made sense. But when you looked at it, it's like, oh no, you guys are really just in this.
Yeah, we're circling the parking lot of this one fucking town. That's it. We know the terrorists are somewhere here in Iraq. So they're somewhere in Afghanistan. We can get, like, they're putting out these videos. They've got to be somewhere in these mountains. But if we just keep circling around, we'll find them eventually.
We'll see them eventually at some point, you know. Right? Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Right, and you want to keep going this Phoenix trend and going to the next Phoenix people?
No, I mean, I think the next thing is just talking about Hiromi and George, because it's like Hiromi, I think, was also a good character that was tragically used and honestly could have been in a less packed series, could have been a secondary writer in his own right.
Yeah, way better character. Oh, yeah, everything you want as a character, right?
Yeah,
like the sense of justice,
the natural sense of justice, but also the human aspect of he's using an incomplete driver. He's using a prototype driver, essentially. Similar to like Birth, where it's like this isn't as good as the main character as the main Kamen Rider driver, but it has its different uses, and because like of them being like there's like the establishment rider, the Vulcan, the what was it? Is it Ixa in fucking Kiva? That was like like the one that is sent from a higher order, like that has training and stuff, which is always a good like archetype to follow for a secondary rider. But because so much of it was like Fast and Furious family stuff, the three siblings take precedent, and we lose all of this plot with Hiromi to the point that they wrote him out, as we talked about, by killing him, and then instead off-screen saying, "Oh, we visited Hiromi. He has memory loss. Don't ask questions. We'll get back to him eventually."
Yeah, but don't worry. Then he magically comes back.
With his memories intact. Okay, so.
Boy, did they even explain in the show that he was faking memory loss?
They mention it in like a one-off line or something when he comes back. It's really bad. So this is probably it goes into my issue, right?
Like how Revice was just too big, right? Because I was on a thread, or I'll be on a thread 2 months in the future, right? Where a user will ask like, why is there all of a sudden so many expansive media in Kamen Rider, especially with the Reiwa era, right?
Yeah.
And the comments was like, because fucking streaming, or not streaming, television is a fucking dead medium, right?
Well, also the thing is, Zero One initially didn't have as much expansive media as like Saber and Revice have had. It started with Saber, really.
Yeah.
Zero One was
like Toei finally realized that that maybe there's markets for Kamen Rider outside of their tiny island of Japan.
And also forget the fact that like OVAs or ONAs have been a thing for like 20 years, or at least the last 15 years, where it's like, we put out 3 episodes of like a spin-off of a thing.
Right.
We like those have existed for years now, and they're only just now getting to a point where so there's the Hyper Battle DVDs. So I guess that has existed. But they're only just now getting, the Toei Tokusatsu page didn't start until Saber, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, it came up when we were, like, starting Saber, like, discussions, and I was like, oh, shit, they actually did this, and it's just, I'm gonna try and go to it now. What is on the Toei official Tokusatsu channel right now? Android Kikaider. Oh, cool, great. And an ad for Black Sun, which isn't airing on this channel. It's going to be airing on it's airing on Amazon. But here it is.
Go to YouTube to watch this trailer. Go watch something on Amazon.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes of Revice are on there from just now. I mean, not 2 months ago. I mean, they just came out. But yeah, they're closed caption. They've got official subtitles through the closed captions, and that's great. But unless you're pointing to a place for them to like watch it, or you're going to give a streaming service, a real streaming service, then you're...
Boy, hey, wow, their banner still has fucking Saber on it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Wow. Boy, hey, look, I understand putting Kamen Rider Black, those are like the most those are fan favorites double, right? But boy, hey, Saber, boy, hey, someone should actually actually change that now, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, maybe you want to get a little. I sure hope that Kamen Rider. I sure hope that Kamen Rider Geats is good and keeps all of their characters alive the entire way through.
Right. Alright, this is out of date fucking.
We'll find out in a few fortnights.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. Hiromi was a good character that they just didn't like. They
could not use.
Characters.
They just could not use. And then, but George. Oh boy, we could spend a whole thing talking specifically about George. I'm gonna leave George for the end. I think George is because just like the series, we'll address George at the end.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, boy. Our sudden need to talk. We'll suddenly talk about it at the end. You know.
Yeah.
Right?
Which I think is appropriate for a review of this series.
Right.
So there's Hiromi, and then there's Akemi, and those are pretty much the only other two people from FENIX that we meet, other than Wakabayashi, who we find out is fake Wakabayashi.
Yeah, well, he was
Akaishi, who is fake.
He was the imposter all along.
He was the imposter all along, and Akaishi, who's the villain. And
Yeah.
Akemi is, again, another tragic character. There were other people mentioned, but they basically just exist to be one-off characters, pretty much. But Akemi was like, again, there's too many characters in this fucking show, and you never really, like, get a reason to care about her, because she's not written to be necessarily important, but then you include her at a certain point, becoming a demon.
Then, you, for some reason, make her the driving force for Daiji's tipping point, you know?
Right. And it wasn't... If it had been their mom, I could have seen that. You know, if they had made that plot point of like, oh shit, or Ikki's like, nosiness or whatever, getting the family involved, led the mom to like try to step in, and then she got turned. I get that, but Akemi was this character that she was there, she was fine.
Yeah, she did her job.
Nice.
You know, she was the doctor lady.
Yeah,
right.
But she didn't really have that many interactions with Daiji. Not enough on screen to
justify
whole conflict.
Yeah, right. Like that was like the most insane thing when I was like when she died. I was like, oh man, I was like, yeah, she died, but I guess she's that important to Daiji. You know, when I think they had like, boy, I don't think they even had a minute of like if you were to go and like compile all their scenes together, I don't think you even get like a minute.
I'll be honest, I think Ikki might have had more screen time with her, because she tells Ikki about the fucking thing with Hiromi and his fucking heart condition.
I forgot about that. Let me tell the random civilian about what.
Yeah.
Let me review.
Let me crack my Hippocratic oath in half and just go, hey, listen. Yeah, so my patient has, if he keeps doping up on this fucking transformation belt, he's gonna turn into a fucking corpse. That's what he's gonna he's gonna henshin right into Kamen Rider.
Do you think I should tell him next after I tell you that, or should I call someone else to talk to first?
Yeah.
You know,
should I maybe contact his next of kin, because also we've clearly established through spin-off media that he has a mother that's still alive.
Right. Forgetting about that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, I would say other than Hiromi and George, the greater part of FENIX was left poorly used and became something that raised more questions than answers. So I'll move on next to let's talk about our villains, the Deadmans, the culturally appropriating terrorists who show up in fucking mariachi. I just want to say, the great thing about this, I guess that's okay. I'm rewatching the first episode because thank you, Toei Tokusatsu World official YouTube channel.
Thank you to the Japanese broadcast for paying for the subtitles for these.
Yeah,
you know?
Finally, after
because Toei doesn't have money to actually hire
a full
subtitles.
year. Apparently they don't, except for One Piece. But so they do find the Gifu stamp in Central America.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it, right? He's supposed to be this Central American demon or whatever.
Yeah.
I still don't know that it's okay to have your terrorist group leaders that are Japanese show up in mariachi outfits.
Mm-hmm.
That's batshit crazy. It was really funny at the beginning, and like, wow, I'm supposed to be intimidated by these weirdos,
it
and
never adds up to anything, right?
no, it's just hey, the Deadmans are a thing.
An actual reason for him to wear stupid mariachi. I was like, it would have made sense, right? But then he didn't realize. Oh no, they could have worn anything for.
Well, yeah, it's not like Gifu came out of the fucking void and he was speaking fucking Spanish, right? You know, right? That'd have been fucking great. You know, if other than them saying like "Gracias, Deadmans" or whatever, right? They don't. There's no other
actual reason for them to be wearing mariachi outfits, you know.
And like, okay, Aguilera, cool, great, whatever, fine. I don't know, Julio. All right, that's really like big Spanish teacher giving you your like the Spanish equivalent of your name sort of thing, you know, where they go, oh yeah, if your name's Michael, your name would in Spanish would be Miguel, or if your name is Richard, your name would be Ricardo. Or if you're, in my case, like Tariq, they just go, T-name, your name is Tomas, and you go, fuck me, I don't want to be Tomas, fuck that shit. But then there's old Tekka, or Tekka. Just completely... okay,
boy.
Look, there's like Aztecs, right? Or like there's, you know, you could see some kind of Mayan Aztec thing of like the Olmec people or some other shit, right? There's a bunch of, but there's no actual like that's like the loosest like Spanish or Hispanic, Latin, Central American reference in a name. They're just picking shit out of like a hat and scrambling it together and going, this sounds kind of like Spanish or something.
Hey look, we had an employee that visits Spain on vacation once, you know. Let's ask him.
No, we have an employee that visited like Honduras once, or went to Cabo for the weekend. They fucking went on a cruise and got off at fucking what's the other place in the other Mexico vacation spots? Let's see. Hold on. Where are we going? Oh, Cancun. That's the other one. Yeah. There's Cabo and there's Cancun. Yeah. Oh, hey, cool. I looked up Mexico vacation spots. One of the first things under people also ask is Cancun or Cabo better? JK, it's Japan, because it's that's where all of the Spanish speakers are, clearly. They're all doing demon terrorist things.
Yeah, or Brazil, you know.
Yeah. The Deadmans were like such a weird organization.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked with the idea of Akaishi, I think, because I think with the way Akaishi handled it,
right?
It was never supposed. It was never supposed to succeed. It was just like, supposed to be.
Look, it's like in Kingdom Hearts how fucking look, my plan to turn Sora failed. Good thing I made my backup plan where I just grabbed 13 versions of me from across space and time. You know,
I mean, basically, yeah.
Backup plan.
Yeah, my real backup plan was to just have, because I think the Deadmans only existed to become a threat to create the Kamen Riders.
Mm-hmm, right? To just have, hey, look, we need this research data, you know?
Yeah.
Yum.
And,
right?
And I'm just going to use whoever I can use to, like, get that accomplished.
Right.
But it's really weird to see the incentives for the different members of Deadmans, because Tamaki our good boy who's just trying to survive, right?
Yeah, right. Look. He didn't want this, right?
He's just trying to be like he's just trying to get some. He's just trying to get some. He's just trying to. He found a girl. She seemed nice. He's trying to also not be bullied anymore. Look, he's just doing his best. Okay.
Right.
Alteka is a psychopath.
Yeah, no,
right?
Clearly it sounds like he's a psychopath too, which is the worst part.
He's just like, he's full, like, I'm the smartest kid in the class, nobody else understands Rick and Morty like I do, like, fucking vibe. Mm-hmm. But Aguilera / Hanna is an actual groomed child bride.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which is something that I don't think is really... I think is a part of her story that is not addressed well enough. Because so much of it at the end is... At the end of the story is like... Well, at the end it's like... The idea is... Okay, we need to, like... Tamaki and I need to serve our time and, like... Mm-hmm. We've committed crimes or whatever.
We have to be responsible adults, right?
Tamaki, I can understand, because he joined as a... impressionable young adult / teen.
Yeah.
She was literally raised in it. Last I checked, I understand that, like, if you commit crimes, you're arrested, but if you're raised by the fucking, like, Manson family, and, like, raised to fucking, like, eat hearts or whatever, I don't think that they just go, this is your fault, this is why you're the, like, you are the way that you are of your own volition. It's more of like, okay, so you were clearly groomed and, like, abducted or, like, abused.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hey, Japanese legal system, somebody wants to fucking correct me on that, I don't know. But it really feels more of a situation where she deserved better catharsis of, like, her whole situation.
Hey, boy, hey. Maybe they should make a spin-off media.
No. I don't think that could possibly go well. I'm gonna make a prediction. I don't think that could possibly go well and truly give us the validation that Aguilera deserves. Like, that Hanna deserves. It's just, she goes through so many questionable decisions of, like, still kind of simping for Gifu, and I get that that's all that she knows, but there's never a point where she's vindicated for being raised that way. Like, there's no point. Sure would be great if we had a doctor around that could possibly give her some fucking therapy and go, hey, you got fucking groomed as a child, but unfortunately, she got turned into a fucking demon.
Or maybe she talks to someone, about it, right?
Yeah.
Instead of just stalking a 16-year-old schoolgirl, right, for a majority of the show, right?
Fuck, yeah, I forgot about the whole stalking Sakura thing. Boy, they're also, I mean... there were more gay undertones going on between Sakura and Hanna than there were between Korra and Asami. And I understand that's not much, but that's saying something for fucking Kamen Rider, right? Mm-hmm. They had something there that they could have worked on, they could have done, and they just didn't go for it. And fine, they're making baby steps, but it really felt like that was what they were trying to go for and didn't have the courage to do, right? But at least they had the courage to, like, if they actually did say later down the road in some spin-off media that Hanna and Sakura got together, I could actually believe that based off of, like, the relationship that they had as characters. Because going back to what I was saying about Ikki and Vice, where it was like there was a believable relationship there between two people, like, growing from each other, that also happened with Sakura and Hanna. Like,
right.
Lovekov as Sakura's demon wasn't really there to be, like, to challenge her. It was more of just her accepting her own weakness, I guess, an inner child, and, like, she had to learn to, like, that she doesn't have to always be, like, be strong or put on airs and be the strongest.
Or she doesn't have to be playing strong every single time.
Yeah.
Right?
But Hanna actually challenged her to, like, care about someone else outside of her family and, like, do it in a way... Like, she had to... All the stuff that she was annoyed about with her family, about, like, oh, you're butting into my business or blah, 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 she had to do for somebody else. So I think there was a really good relationship there, even just as friends. But it just, like... It takes such a weird turn on Hanna's side, because she just comes off as, like, really fucking obsessive and really, like, stalkery and creepy for a long time. And also suicidal, right? Because she just goes, kill me! I can't be... Like, if I can't fucking fight you, or if I can't be the bride of Gifu, then just kill me. Sakura, you have to be the one to kill me. And it's like... I don't know if that's the solution. I don't think that's the solution at all, in fact. Why would you do this? So I just, I think that overall, I mean, I mostly talked about Hanna. Tamaki again, best boy. He's just doing his best. Best boy. He also,
like Hiromi, he just wants to survive and make rent.
Also,
right?
Man, when he fucking... I will say, I think one of the best moments / even fights in the show is once we get to the Giftarians and Tamaki reunites with his high school friend that, like, let him get bullied and ripped up his fucking Pokemon cards or whatever the fuck it was. Like, and then his friend gets turned into a Giftarian and dies. Tamaki's whole rage mode, and then, like, killing one-shotting the Giftarian, like, scaring the shit out of Volteca, and then, Revi and Vice using Volcano Barrett Rex for the first time, like, fully, like, I think that was just a great fucking, like, moment of the series. Because, again, it's the overall plot was messy. A lot going on there. Too much to... As my mom would say when I tried to eat...
Tamaki's character, like, they at least served all the jobs he had.
Yeah.
Right? Like, at least, like, he had, like, a full character.
He got his full arc, and then it just basically became simping for Hanna and trying to, like, follow her, which is fine, because that's how he started.
Hey, check it out. I got my Kamen Rider. Now I can be Kamen Rider too,
Yeah.
Right? Hey, look, check it out. Look, here is my original Kamen Rider design.
Here's my original Kamen Rider design that I am taking from somebody else, and that person themselves is also using a stolen Kamen Rider design that is just a repaint of somebody else's design put onto another Kamen Rider suit.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and at least I like Tamaki's character, because he actually had an actual character growth. Sana's character growth was just extremely fucking weird, and they kept trying to validate her character design. I was like, well, hey, look, I don't think this is getting really weird. I don't think you know how to write your female characters, right? Look, I think you're only writing down this one because they're the only two females on set, right? Because you killed the third one. You killed the third female character.
And the other one is the mom.
The other one is an old, and the other one is a mom character, right?
Yeah. I will say...
Yeah, that's the worst part about, like, when Hanna as a character at the show, like you said, like, oh yeah, hey, look, she wants to, right? She really, like, she understands it, but she doesn't actually know what to do with the errors of her way, right?
Yeah.
At the end of it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I was looking at the Aguilera, like, armor design, as Kamen Rider Aguilera, and again, I think it's something that the specific shot that I'm looking at has her front facing, so you can't see the little horn in the front, or the stinger of the bee, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like I still stand by that. I think that the white and red with, like, black undersuit is a good color scheme. Like, I still think that it has a good color scheme.
Boy, hey,
but they really did not.
I'll say my thoughts about the suit design.
But they really did not do a lot with like giving her any kind of flair or like armor or anything. Like, it's a very basic. Like,
it's a suit that someone over the weekend had to turn in, right?
Yeah.
Before they had to make the suit.
Like, the color scheme, I think, works really well. It's just, it doesn't make sense. Like, it also, thinking about it, if the idea is, like, based off of the motif of a bee, I've never seen a white bee before. I've never seen a white and red bee before. Like, is this an albino bee? Like, what's going on here? Why is it white? Like...
See, yeah, right. It's also, it doesn't help that the suit design is supposed to be taken from the Libra driver, which is a repaint of Janae's driver, so, you know...
Yeah, but it's really not, like, a repaint of Gian's.
Yeah, right, that's the problem, right? If they made this suit like how in fucking Pokemon, how, like, hey, look, what is it, what's the... Well, Silcoon, right? Or Wurmple, right? Hey, look, Wurmple can either become Silcoon or Cascoon, right?
Right, yeah.
Like something like that, right? Like if they actually made this like not necessarily be a repaint of Janae's, but like a kit bash of Janae's, like using Janae as a base.
Yeah.
Right up the suit and then evolving from there. That would have been fine, but hey, look, I'll say my thoughts on suit design when we get into it.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess I would just say the only other characters to talk about are the parents. I mean, there's Weekend, but fuck, man, Weekend is a whole fucking thing. Weekend was just a weird faction that showed up to not do enough. I'll talk about the parents quickly.
Yeah.
The mom, perfectly fine, likable. She did everything.
Yeah, made to her family, right?
It isn't until you get to the Veil spinoff that things become batshit crazy.
And like, you learn the backstory of the show, right?
Because if it was just the worst
part is if you didn't watch the Veil spinoff, right? Like a majority of the show actually doesn't make sense, right? Like you can write off the mystery, right? Because hey, remember that Oblivion stamp that George fucking took?
Yeah,
never fucking came up ever again, right?
Nope.
Right, but like the Veil mystery was like actually important. Like, hey, you should really watch this.
Yeah, you want to know how? Hey, you want to know how we got here? Here's the answer.
You want to know? Hey, you want to know what's the deal with Repaint Vice?
Yeah,
you know, exactly. Right. So since you're speaking of rewatching the first episode, I'm doing it background. So there's a scene when Vice shows up, right, and they hard cut to the mom, right. Yeah. And like her like facial reaction makes way more sense now that we know the context, right? Because before you think, like, oh no, she just saw a spooky demon, you know, right?
The question is, do you think that she actually knew that at that time? Like, she actually picked up on that? Like, or not her? Do you think the writers actually had that much forethought at that point?
Right, or they had to write around it, right? Like they actually had to go back to like Ernest was like, what's the deal with this? Why is the mom so aggressively reactive to Vice?
Because I think that they also had a chance to have it be a reveal to her that Genta had like true memory, like Genta's backstory. Like they had the chance to say that she didn't know either. But they decided to include, like, no, the mom just, like, kind of picked up a amnesiac guy and just said, you're married to me now. And just went, hey, Japan, you want to solve this whole birth crisis that we have, this marriage crisis? Start wandering around the fucking mental wards. That'll get you a mate. Just pick the mentally vulnerable.
Yeah, the one that was in a fire, too, and... Right? And all that stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, it's... The parents, as a whole, are very weird characters in the, like, balance of it, because it's just, like, all of this shit is happening, but it's like, hey, just come home and have a nice hot meal. Also, and then eventually it just becomes, hey, come home and have a nice hot meal. Anyway, your dad left because he was a fucking super soldier and he lost his memory, but we never talked about that before, and you never knew about that.
Right.
And now he's coming back, and he's gone for like 8 episodes, but here he comes. He's coming back, and he's here to solve all the problems once, and then not participate ever again because we made him too strong, I guess? Question mark?
Right. The worst part is like at the end, it shows that, or at least when he like has his big fight with Vale, right? That he's fully aware of his past, but they're like, no, keep playing the idiot dad. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to keep playing the idiot dad, right? He can still be right. The fact that you just said, hey, ignore your past when you straight up were murdering people,
and it doesn't. And there's never a point where it's like. I expected it to be sort of the thing that they do with a lot of memory loss characters in writing, where it's like, oh, that was the old me, this is the new me, I'm becoming a person that is a mixture of both of those people. I'm finding a balance between those two.
Yeah, but it doesn't happen with it.
Instead Genta just basically goes, oh, that Junpei guy? He's dead.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm Genta.
But I still have full memory, and he clearly established he's fully aware, but he's like, oh, I guess everyone just wants me to play the idiot and not take responsibility for any of my actions. I guess, right? Like, they could have just had him still be like his quote unquote real self, but it's like no, it's more funny when you play the goofball dad, like sitcom dad. Hey look, I'm gonna climb up this ladder, it's a little unstable.
Sure would suck if I got up to the top step and I fell.
Right? It's absolutely how they kept his character after the big reveal that he's been fully aware of his past, and after he doesn't not reconcile like face Vale and everything, and he faces actual past, Like
I will say that again, also going back to this first episode and reminding me of things. I'll change it from the family to the bathhouse as a faction, because then there's Boo. Who I feel like his role to explain like the backstory got overshadowed by
Papa Karizaki.
I was gonna say by Papa Karizaki, whereas like that could have been Boo's role to like fill the like family in, but it mostly got filled in by once George's dad came back.
Right, yeah, because they clearly established that he had a mysterious past. Like he was a shady guy. Like
he can get stuff with it.
Where'd you get these home address of these people? Like, hey,
how'd you find this like information so quickly?
Right, and they're like, hey, look, don't worry about it. Hey, look, I Google it. You young kids use Google yet? You should use it.
This isn't something like this isn't trying to like say, oh, I would have done it better, but it's like. It would have been interesting if Boo had been... If they had revealed that, like, Boo was George's dad after, like, plastic surgery from the birds.
Okay.
I'm just saying, like, if they had really, like, shifted... There's ways to consolidate some of these character arcs. Like, some of these character plot lines. By... Like, some of these characters didn't need to be two or three separate characters, right? Like, Boo and, what was his name? Masumi Karizaki?
Yeah, Masume. Oh, not Masume.
Masumi, Karizaki. Yeah. Like, they could have been blended together to be, like, one character with certain writing. Like, if they had written it in a certain way. Or... Similarly, like, he could have been written into, like, the dad from... The Ushijima dad from, like, Weekend, right?
Right, yeah.
Like, he could... Like, because...
I don't want to get started.
But it was just... He kind of just existed as this, like... weird, floating anomaly that was just... The only payoff was a spin-off series that, again, if you didn't watch it, doesn't make any sense.
Right? His road doesn't make any sense, right? Like, it's just like because if you watch the show without never watching The Mist, right, it makes no sense on who he actually
all of a sudden, he's all of a sudden he's just explaining shit, and you go,
he's
what?
the mysterious caretaker of the dad, right? Because that's the thing. Like when we watched that episode, like when was it Vale? When the dad transformed right back into his suit, right? Like after he passed out, Boo showed up and said, "Hey kids, don't worry about this. I got this." I'm like, what?
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
yeah.
If you watch that without the context.
Well, no, it isn't even just that. Hey, don't worry, I got this. It's don't worry, I got this, and then flash forward an episode or two, and it's like, Boo-san, how is our dad? And it's like, why do you guys trust him so much, and why aren't you asking more questions? Like, where is the backstory here? And it's like, don't worry, you'll have to watch something else to find out.
Yeah, right? It's like, what if that could have been interesting, but they don't really do much, because, like, there's characters that fulfill his roles.
Yeah.
Boy, hey, you want to talk about the Urashima family now?
Yeah, I was just going to say, talking about Weekend, right? So, there's this whole underground third counter-demon, counter-FENIX faction that has been... And it has its own infrastructure, its own funding...
Its own existence, its own member.
We want to
actual members, right? It's not like a secret, like a secret Justice League couple. Like, fine. No, this is like Justice League Unlimited. You know,
100%. Yes, that is absolutely correct. It is absolutely Justice League Unlimited. Yeah, we have our own base.
Boy, hey, let me tell you. Over the summer, I rewatched the original Justice League, and then I went into Unlimited, and then it was like, and then when the first episode, they introduced like 50 characters. Like, who the? I mean, like, I know who these characters are because I know who DC characters. But, like, how the fuck you went from like 5 characters hanging out to watchdown to like everyone can? Hey, look, if you know the password, you can get in. Here's the address. Come visit us. We're in space. If you can get there, you're in. You're in. You know, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to Justice League.
Yeah, sure.
Check it out.
Where's Virgil Hawkins? Where can we get Virgil Hawkins in this room? Where is he?
What? Well, he's in his own series, so we're not legally allowed to use him?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right. What about the Teen Titans? Where are they at?
Oh, we can't use them either? Fuck. But don't worry, that's why we also can't use Robin, I guess.
Here's Shining Knight and a cowboy, and straight up a cowboy.
Yes! Oh, God, yes. Oh, what is it? Oh, fuck. Isn't the cowboy that from that one movie that Megan Fox was in?
No, that's Jonah Hex. That's a different cowboy.
Wait, Jonah Hex is different than the fucking... than the cowboy in... than the fucking cowboy in Unlimited?
Yep. I think that character's name is Vigilante.
There's Vigilante and then there's Jonah Hex.
Yep.
There are 2 different DC comic cowboys.
Yes. See, one of
them. Alright, I'm gonna go back to Kamen Rider.
One of them is a Justice League member, and one of them is a guy that works with the Justice League, alright?
I refuse to deal with that. I refuse. That's too many cowboy superheroes for me to deal with. That's fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid.
Right,
but yeah.
Hey, look. Yeah, no, Weekends actually, the fact that they just show up, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to put Sakura into FENIX. They're like, oh, hey, she can play with she can't play with her brother, so she'll go across the street and play with the other kids, you know?
But also then we find out that, like, again, slowly over time we start paying more attention, and it's like, they have embroidered, like, they have designed clothes with W's on them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they have their own, like, do they have their own, like, underground market, contact that's, like, making them clothes? Like...
Or they're using a shell company to order these, right?
It's essentially, like, so you watched Code Geass, right?
Yeah.
It's like if the Black Knights showed up, like, fully, in the end game level of the Black Knights, when they've got, like, funding and, like, they've got, like, their whole... like multiple nations are like backing them to like support them. But if they just showed up like 20 episodes in, and it was just like, where the fuck did you come from? How did you? And it's like, don't ask questions. Oh, okay, sure, I guess. Cool, you're here, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
And then. The further down, goes
back to the fact that if you don't watch the the Veil Legacy shit, you don't really understand what's the deal with these characters, especially when it comes to the big revelation that the leader is fucking George's dad. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh fuck, oh man, it makes sense now. Like,
yeah,
right?
Especially because they talk, like, he talks about it for a second, and you go, huh, your dad's dead. That sucks. And it's like, wait, your dad did everything? Wait, hold on. How did it?
You're like if we backtrace the source of all this problem, it was because of your dad. You know?
Yeah.
Right? It's absolutely crazy.
But yeah. God, I think there was a lot of, it's not so much wasted potential, it's just an example of, once again, they put
too many
in a lot of stuff.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
Right, because it's like, cause most of the characters ended up just being useless. Like the mom character, like, she died. That was it. Like she was like she did a like if she was like I don't know a surrogate father to like a Sakura or and Hanna or something, like, right, cool, I can justify her character, but her character literally did nothing. She was just there most of the time, right? And then you have Hikaru, whose entire character was like, hey, me and Sakura goes to the same school, you know, right? Right, so like, hey, maybe she'll hang out with me after this.
Yeah.
You know, right? And this character's like, and then like, hey, look, I was also, right? The worst part is, like, it's clear that he was also not groomed. He was also raised in this environment, right?
Yeah.
So they could have given him actual character with like Hana, like, hey, look, I know what you're going through, right? I was also raised in like yours, but like at least the people I was raised actually cared for me enough, you know, right?
Yeah,
and didn't just want me to marry a giant rock, right?
Yeah, I think that. In comparison, again, just kind of like holding it against its other two Reiwa siblings, Revice tried to follow Saber, tried to do better than Saber by being like, okay, we're gonna have, this is too insular, but it's also not like explaining enough. Like, we've got a bunch of Kamen Riders, but we're not actually talking about like them. We're not giving them characters. You know, we're not really like fleshing them out. But they tried to flesh all of them out and realized quickly there's not literally enough runtime in this series for us to explain every character's like backstory and reason for things going on. So they tried to improve on it. And I think they also tried to like follow on some of the thematic points of 01 of like, okay, so we've got like an established group, like government group sort of thing, that is working on fighting this terrorist cell, and we like this isn't a we have to hide our identity sort of situation. This isn't like Saber where it's like, oh, nobody knows about this situation that we're dealing with. It's like, no, it's clearly understood that this is a problem. But they kind of like bit off more than they could chew.
Right, and it's just like, and then the group just ended up being glossed over to the point where like these group exists, right?
Yeah, we created all these characters, but also we didn't have, and I think maybe in 2 months we'll be able to make this assessment that in Geats they have more courage to just kill people off or write them out rather than spend a whole bunch of time trying to figure out what the fuck their deal is. Right?
Right.
It's like, if like if any of the Ushijimas had died early on, or if any character really had died early on, that'd been fine. We could have been able to like go, shit, like the stakes are real, there's real threats here. But even Hiromi's death isn't actually a death, and he comes back into the plot. And if you don't want to like deal with writing that character, let him be a tragic loss for the characters to like think about. Let him be an inspiration. But you wrote him back in to have him interact with the characters again, which I'm just now remembering when he goes full fucking Hawkeye and shoots a bow and arrow at a fucking goddamn demon.
Hey, look,
and
look, this is your weapon. Use this now.
Yeah, George goes, hey, this is the best I can. I can't give you a belt, but this will probably work.
Hey, look, this is the best. Look, I'm using my Tony Stark skills, and this is the best I can get for you. You know?
Yeah,
right?
this is the best I can get you on a short notice.
Yeah, look. I took all the scrap in this room, you know, and I put it all together, right? And I made you this cool. It's not a futuristic high tech Kamen Rider bow for us to sell a toy with. It's just straight up a bow.
This isn't some Gaim shit where you get a bow. No. This is like just some actual. We went to fucking fuck Jesus. What's the fucking
Dick's?
There's Dick's Sporting Goods. What the fuck is the other one?
Not SeaWorld. Outback. No, not Outback.
Bass Pro Shop. Yeah.
Yeah, Bass Pro Shop. Okay,
yeah, like
the power 2.
I was trying to figure it out too. Yeah, because hey, look, fun fact, the power of having a family that lives in Virginia. I got to have a compound bow at like 13, 14 that I was not allowed to bring back here. It was like, listen, you can, when you come out here, you can visit your bow, you can hang out with your bow, you can pet your bow, you can brush it, and you do not take this bow home with you to shoot targets because those targets will probably be people. Like, this is the little, like, the weird, like, not like punching bag, but like the target bag sort of thing, and you just shoot at that, and don't ever like point that like outwards towards like the street direction, because that could go out and spear somebody in the fucking head. It's like, okay, I guess. I definitely had to go to a fucking Bass Pro Shops for that. But yeah, the weekend is weekend, not the weekend.
Yeah, completely different thing.
Yeah, different thing. One makes music that's featured in the at the time of this currently airing Miss Marvel ?
Yeah. Yes.
But regardless, and then there's Weekend, which is just like weirdly unstructured, but also structured.
That just exists, you know.
That just exists, and you don't really understand how or why.
Right, and you realize that it's just, boy, look, it's the dad's like, fucking, hey, look, I fucked up. I need to get my kids to reconcile with me. You know?
Oh boy, I should really clean up my own mess. Let me start a fucking terrorist cell to fucking, or not a terrorist cell, an Antifa cell, like.
Right, and this let me start an underground as well, right? And just recruit like a bunch of people to join me that will believe in my cause.
And also, in the ultimate like strategic move, I'm going to start by building it directly underneath my like former home.
Right.
Although I guess as a plan, right? It's probably smart for him to have his like to have the prop family that he's like leading own the house that he's trying like.
Yeah, right. I mean that's smart, but it's not smart to build the secret base under the house. You know?
Yeah.
Right. You could have built like a warehouse or something.
Yeah.
Built your secret.
It's also just like stairs. It's just, hey,
right,
we walk down the stairs.
You don't even press like a button to enter this. You know, it's like a Batman game. You just go, hey, look, hey, the base.
Oh, don't go down the glowing green staircase.
Right, that's the worst part too. Right, but look, Weekend was a organization that existed and probably could have done a better job being managed. You know.
Yeah. All right. So I think.
Oh boy, have we talked about Ikki yet? Have we even dedicated any time to Ikki?
I mean, we've talked about Ikki and Vice.
Right. But I think that was my problem with this show, is how Ikki and Vice really weren't main characters. I mean,
that's the thing is, when they're together, I think that they were fine. But it's like they would always start to have a plot between themselves, and then
they kept repeating
something else would jump in the way and like involve itself, and some other character's like huge plot reveal of like, oh,
it's all connected.
This was Hiromi's coworker that like has gone to the Deadmans, or
right.
Sakura needs to go like make sure that Hanna doesn't fucking like try to off herself by being doesn't try to impale herself on Sakura's blade, essentially. Like Daiji's having a fucking like a fucking Moon Knight episode, right? And
oh boy, I can't wait for Moon Knight to premiere.
No, I think at this point Moon Knight has premiered.
Oh, has it? Wait, was it Moon Knight then Miss Marvel, or was it Miss Marvel?
I believe it was Moon Knight then Miss Marvel.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But like,
oh yeah, She-Hulk. That's what I'm excited to watch.
Oh yeah. Hey, I sure hope they don't smash the fourth wall.
Oh boy. Hey, look. I can't wait to see. I dare to see what new stuff they do. Right.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, there's a lot of demons, but there's there's no devils.
Yeah. Right. But yeah. Ikki's character was definitely right, or at least Ikki and Vice, like they kept repeating the same plot point throughout the entire show. Yeah. Right? Of like, hey, can I trust you, Vice, for the 5th time? Right? I actually lost count of how many times like that they kept doing that plot.
Well, I would say at the beginning, I think
at the beginning it makes sense when you have to
right.
These, right? When you're like, oh, but hey, I don't know if I can trust you, but they're like, no, you can trust. We're partners here. You're my eyeball.
Yeah.
But then they kept doing that multiple times. I was like, oh, boy, I thought you guys got over this. I thought you guys already established that you guys are good mates. But now you doing this.
I think the last time that it was acceptable was when we got the Jack Revice form.
Mm-hmm. Right with the body, yeah.
Yeah, that made sense. Okay. Mm-hmm. The getting to the final arc with Gifu like trying to possess Vice or speaking through him, it was like, okay, it's clearly not. What's going on here? Why is this happening? Why are we doing this?
Did we already do this, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it just felt like clearly there's a like, especially at the very end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Clearly this is not Vice acting normally. Clearly you should be able.
You should be able to figure this out, Ikki. You're 20. You're 22. You need to make your own thing.
That said, Ikki is canonically, I think, the most mentally disabled Kamen Rider protagonist that we've ever had. Just fundamentally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is like, again, going back to the big thing of going, okay, yeah, so the memory loss thing.
Yeah, right. Which I think is arguably the worst fucking plot throughout the entire show due to how they handle it.
It's so...
Like it's a good idea, but I feel like it could have been handled way better.
Well,
right?
But I think the fundamental issue is how they chose to...
represent it?
Allude to it. Because they decided to do it with the photographs, like, wiping Ikki out.
Yeah.
Which made everyone go, hold on. I mean, I understand what you're going for, but this
is not.
This seems more like you're just erasing his existence, more than like you're erasing his memories, because it's like the only thing I can think of is that for the sake of Ikki's like memories, Vice's powers removed any evidence of things he didn't remember. But that still doesn't really make sense.
We talked about this. Like how abstract does this get? Right?
Yeah.
With him being erased, like does his name being written on like a drawing from you as a kid? Does that disappear? Right? Like
does he lose his like high school diploma? Does he like not have to pay taxes? Like
right? Like boy, like if he has a bank account, what happens to that?
Yeah.
right? It got like really weird, like how they chose to like if they could have just like had him throughout the show, like just suddenly mess up, like portray like as a clumsy fool, right? And then realize, oh wait, no, he's not actually like a clumsy fool. Like, right? Like, hey, I'm gonna climb up these ladders. I hope I don't fall, right? Going back to that.
I think that the way that it should have been handled was that this is actually me saying that, like, no, I probably could have done this better. Is that it should have been that everyone else was forgetting Ikki. That it should have been, like, his existence was being erased from other people's, like, minds.
Right,
and that it was slowly becoming, like, and that he was slowly becoming more isolated and that Vice... I mean, he still does become isolated so that Vice is the only person that he remembers. But it should have been more that Vice was the only person that remembers him. And, like, that was who he had to rely on.
And everyone else doesn't... Right, yeah.
But instead,
that's good.
They flipped it and just had it be like... He's just, like... Holes are opening up in his brain every time he transforms.
Yeah, right. He actually might. We should. Hey, look. If only there was a doctor left at FENIX.
If only there was a doctor that could fucking, like, again. Akemi looked at Hiromi and went, "Boy, that heart is not gonna last if you keep using this fucking thing." She probably could have done a fucking quick scan on Ikki's brain, gone, "Your brain looks like fucking Swiss cheese right now. You need to stop." Like,
right. Like, it's like the him being just misremembered is a good plot, right? When the theme is about family, like, hey, look, he doesn't have any family if he keeps using it, right? Like Devil's Paw situation, right? Right? Like, hey, look, if you save your family, you'll metaphorically lose your family, right? But like the way that they just chose to implement it was like this strange, like we were just legitimately confused on why the photos like. Is this back to? Are we back to the future in this? Is this timeline magic? But no, it just turns out, hey, look, Magic God knows Photoshop. It turns out God is very good at Photoshop. Right? He pays for a Photoshop subscription to Adobe, you know, right?
Jesus. Oh wait, my debit card just changed. I don't think my subscription is up anymore. The question is, do I fix my subscription or do I let it die?
Right? But yeah, right? Yeah, but that was like one of the biggest problems. Like, Ikki's as a character was also very disinteresting, right? Because his entire character had to be tied to Vice, and Vice was just a character that just legitimately exists to shitpost. And if he wasn't...
No, Vice was... I think Vice was great. It's just... I agree with what you're saying about, like, Ikki wasn't an interesting character necessarily, but that's mostly because they kept so much of his own backstory like close to the vest.
Ambiguous, right?
Like, and they didn't, and it wasn't until we got into the later arcs where we talked about like his friend that he fucking like apparently crippled to the point that he can never play soccer again.
Oh boy, hey look, I hope his friend doesn't enter any games, you know.
Yeah,
right?
well, oh boy.
After that, you know, right?
Yeah.
And have his desire be noted down, you know, right? I mean, right? Yeah. That would be very bad, right?
That sure would be.
Right, but yeah, I just didn't like Ikki as a character by himself because he was legitimately just bland throughout the show, right? Like he has like basic good guy. He was basic good guy and everything. Like, hey, look. I'm a good guy, you know?
Yeah.
But like, there was, like, nothing interesting enough to the point where, like all that had to be shoulder on Vice to give him actually any good character, right? Like, his character by himself didn't stand out to me, right, as a character, right?
Yeah. I mean, the problem is, again, they wanted to establish all of these other characters, but he didn't... but they wanted to basically hold all of these mysteries and secrets about, like, how Ikki had a demon already and all this other stuff. They wanted to leave it for the last,
10 episodes.
Yeah.
Right? And then in the middle of these last 10 episodes, here's a 2-episode subplot about why this character is suddenly evil, you know, like, right? Because it was been building up through that entire time that George was evil,
Yeah.
Boy, hey, all right. We can talk about George. All right, now we're done.
Yeah, I think we have to handle the George in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So George,
Mm-hmm.
quite possibly
was a character that had the most written change about him.
the
right?
best character and the worst character? Question mark.
Mm-hmm. Right, because I think they originally stated it was that George was supposed to be the audience surrogate, right? Like, hey, right back when the original plotline of Revice was that, hey, Kamen Rider exists as a TV show within the Revice universe, right? And then they had to change, like, oh, no, one time, like, back to the original, no, he just exists. He just
because again, looking at the first episode again, George is the one that's just like, well, you got to do it like you got to do it the Kamen Rider way. You got to do it Ichigo. You got to spin your, you got to throw that hand up in a totally like not Nazi way. Like we promise it's not Nazis.
Mm-hmm. You got to do the motions, right?
Yeah, you gotta do the thing.
Yeah, but, right. People love that.
But again, and I think this goes back to my point of the turning point for the series is when they raid the Deadmans and George's dad comes back. Once George's dad comes back, all of the sort of like control that George had as a character goes away because it becomes about what his dad did, and now it's his relationship with his dad, and we're throwing yet another character like development and also
here's
a
another
relationship
character with daddy issues.
Yeah. Once again, it's bad dad situation, right? Like Gifu is the dad of all the demons. It's Ikki. It's the Igarashi siblings and their dad, and now it's George and his dad. Like all of these fucking situations, and it's also potentially Aguilera calling Gifu daddy, right? It's just there's all these weird things going on, and so it becomes way like over involved in just like George has to like now react to his long since thought dead dad showing up and like stealing his spotlight and like involving himself in their situations.
Right. His character was perfectly fine up throughout. He just like I said, I am being supposed to be the character surrogate and everything for us to go with. And then just like the last two episodes where it's like, here's his daddy issues. By the way, did you know as a kid his dad put his demon in him? Right? That we have never explored or explained.
Right? Yeah. That's. I mean, God, and also doesn't get addressed except until you watch the movie, which I think making movie allusions is more acceptable than making spin-off media, because at least the movies are intended to be for the general audience.
Right.
But like the spin-off media is like,
oh boy, hey look, you can watch it on the
they go, here's a treasure map, figure it out, like
right. And look, you gotta get on your very pirate network and sell the seas to Japan to watch this. By the way, right? Because it's on the Toei Tokusatsu, but you gotta figure out where on the Toei Tokusatsu fan club channel it actually is for you to watch. Right? Like the last episode with his dad, when all of a sudden he shows daddy issues, right? When they clearly established in the previous, like, hey, look, I had daddy issues, but me and my dad went over it. Here you go. Here's your super cool new Vice stamp toy, right? Like, we put away our difference, right? But then it was like, no, I was actually lying. I never put away my daddy issues. I secretly was having daddy issues the entire time, right? The worst was they showed that he and his dad reconciled when they made the what was it called? The ultimate, right?
Oh, the double Rex thing.
Yeah, right. Because they showed that they reconcile. Like, all right, hey, look, we're putting away our differences right now, right? You and I are united towards the common cause, right? Of everything. So, hey, let's bury the hatchet and do this, right?
Yeah.
Right, because they showed earlier that they were having trouble of not being like, oh, I don't want to talk to my dad. He's kind of a jerk. You know?
It was
like,
Giffard. It was the Giffard Rex.
Yeah, like the Giffard Rex stamp, right? Like when they showed that his that had to work together to create that stamp, right? And I was like, okay, good, okay, they're resolving these two character, these two character relationship. Like, all right. Like, is it a good relationship? Like, yeah, whatever. But at least it showed that they actually making effort to, like, he's actually made look, Dad, I'm still mad that you didn't let me eat ice cream when I was a kid, you know, right? Right, but hey, look, I'm gonna look. Now that I'm an adult, I understand why you didn't want me to have ice cream as a kid before bed, you know, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's make this Vice stamp together.
I guess I guess I can get over this. I forgive you.
Mm-hmm. Right. Like that was the whole point of them making that stamp, and then just enough to throw it out at the last minute with those two episodes where George is evil. You know, like, oh, hey.
Well, it's not even so much that he's evil. He's
not
petty.
Evil.
He's like, he's petty and like spiteful of like, now I can prove that I'm better than my dad.
Yeah, now that my dad. That was my chance to show him that I'm.
Now that my dad
he was alive.
Now that my dad is super definitely dead.
Like, because I think even in that episode when they made the Gifford Rice, his dad was like, "Oh, you did it. You were right." I think his dad actually said, "You surpassed me." Right? Yeah. I believe. I can't remember.
But he felt. I guess he. I mean, technically, I think part of it was that he was trying to do what his dad did without relying on devils or demons, but it never really. It's not like.
But the problem doesn't show because if you watch it shows that he only made the Juga, whatever the fuck stamp.
Juga driver?
Right, because of his stupid fucking devil, his demons or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
because of shit.
Right? He's like, oh yeah, he's like, hey look, my dad doesn't need it, I don't need it, but like, oh hey, shit, hand me that screwdriver over there. I don't want to walk over there, by the way, you know. Right?
It's just something where he didn't need to be as boy, what do I want to say?
Petty?
He didn't need to be as obsessed with his dad and like the legacy that he was like supposedly competing with until his dad showed up, right?
Right.
Like it wasn't like his biggest thing wasn't about his dad until his dad mysteriously showed back up in the series.
Right. Because even then, they never fucking. He never brings it up as like, oh yeah, right? Like there was a throwaway line early in the series, like, oh hey, look, like this is research, like or some shit like my dad did, or
if in like so going back to watching the first episode, that initial shot where they show like 1979 or whatever Central America, if that had been like the act again, this goes into how much do they really plan ahead for, right? If that had been...
They had to change the production.
Right. Well, I guess it couldn't have been his dad at the excavation site because his dad was in his 20s or 30s at the time of Vale, so he would have been born 16. In like... I mean, he would have been born in like the... mid-70s. It would have been too early for him to be like on a fucking expedition. But I'm just saying that like it doesn't, you know, if it would have been his fucking grandfather, I don't know.
Yeah, right. No, there was clearly early on that George had daddy issues, right?
Daddy issues, but also issues with
he's doing this just to surpass his dad, which I was like, it's like, hey, your dad made a driver that didn't even work, you know?
Yeah.
The last guy that they've been over, like they clearly said, what I forget what Geta was experiment number 71.
I was number 70. God,
I'm pretty sure it was 71 because it was the stupid. Yeah. Because they were still trying to reference the gear, right? Like, hey, look, your dad had 75 failed experiment, right? I think you're off to a better. You're already at a better.
So far, none of your experiments have died outright. I mean, Hiromi almost died, but you've done pretty good on most.
Yeah, and the guy you selected, chicken out, you know, right? But that's more of his fault and not really your fault. You know, right? That's his fault. But the guy that ended up using, hey, he's doing way better than your dad. He's not killing everyone in our small office space yet. You know, right? And like, it's like the whole revolution of George being like, oh man. Oh man, I need to show my dad, you know, right? He was never at my graduation, you know.
Yeah, that's because he was kind of dead / a burn victim, hiding in like secret to try and overthrow this paramilitary group.
I'm still mad. I'm still mad. He wasn't there. Like all the other kids' parents were there, you know. Yeah. Right. Well, right. No one was there when to take my photo. Of my graduation, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just like his entire like I think like you could like I think we even talked about how you could easily just edit out the entire George's fucking being mad.
Yeah, you could take all of that out of the last the 2 or 3 episodes before the finale and nothing would change.
Right?
Because he doesn't even show up as he doesn't even use the Juga like. He doesn't even transform into Juga at the end to, like, fight Vice or, like, participate in the whole, like, bit to, like, gaslight Ikki into, like, having one final confrontation.
Right.
So, we get it for all of 2-3 episodes, and it's
2
like...
2 episodes, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, that was great, but... And also, I'll say this, I like Juga as a Kamen Rider design.
Good design!
Criminally underused.
Right? It's just so fucking weird how it's like, they could have done something way better with this character, you know, but they decided not to. Like, could have put him in a movie, you know, but no, you gotta have a Kamen Rider fucking, whatever the fuck that movie writer guy. Crocodile Zero Man, whatever the fuck his name is. You know, right? Yeah, like I say, like, this is like his, like everything, honestly, everything up until the whole last 2 episodes involving George was perfectly fine as a character. Like, he was like the zany character, you know, like, oh, hey, look, what's his deal? He speaks English in random intervals for no fucking reason.
I mean, it's truly like he was just this weird, chaotic, good character that just existed and just made things more interesting.
Right, like, you didn't have to give him, like, this whole big subplot, but then they decided to, like, oh, no, we kind of have to give him, like, this whole big subplot of his dad and everything, but the problem, like I said earlier, they resolved it. They resolved the whole, him and his dad's difference when they made the stupid Gifford Rex stamp, right, and I thought, like, all right, cool, and they, all right, look, his dad says that you surpassed me, even though, I think he already surpassed you, right? Right?
Yeah.
And everything. But like they still wanted to make it like, oh no, we gotta give him time. I think there was more the fact they were trying to pad out time or something so they could get to an episode, right? Because it's like, hey, look, it's the 50th year of Kamen Rider, you know? We gotta end it on 50 episodes, right? Or else we'll look like a bunch of idiots, you know? Everyone would say, hey, remember when the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider ended on episode 48? Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Oh, man. We don't want to look like a bunch of idiots to the public, you know? Missing our mark, right?
50 years, 50 episodes. That's what we require.
Right? It's just so fucking weird because of that. Alright, is that what you gotta say about George?
Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about George, and overall, I think George is the last thing I really have to say about fucking Revice, because I think...
let's see. I think the only thing I have is I just didn't like the suit design for this season. Because I didn't like how everything just ended up having mishmash of designs, right?
Yeah,
like everyone's design works. Like everyone's design is good, right? But the fact that they work, if they were in like their own,
there wasn't a cohesive pattern to them. It was all a bunch of different Kamen Riders, basically.
Right? They just took design for like past Kamen, like, all right, hey, this works, this fucking works, you know, right? Yeah.
I mean, I really, there were some that I really liked, and there were some that I didn't give a shit about. But I do agree with what you're saying of, like, again, comparing it to its Reiwa siblings, right? Sabers were very, like, there was a pattern to all of them.
Yeah, right. Even though they all had like the distinctive style, you understood what they were all going for.
Yeah, with 01, it was, other than 01 himself, it was, there's the Ames Kamen Riders, and there's the Metsubo Jinrai Kamen Riders, and there's a clear thematic pattern
Aesthetic,
between both. Between both of them.
Right.
This was very like
right, like even within ZO, you saw like you know what they're like if you were to put the ZO writers like those are the ZO writers, but if you were to put like all the Revice writers, you'd be like, all right, that's from that season,
and that's
that
from
like
another season,
right, right, like I just didn't like the end of the weird fucking incohesive design. Like if they all share like the same design, I would have been fine. But the fact that everyone's design ended up just going like 3 different, it's like oh, maybe that's where we're trying to go. And look, they kept referencing the tree of evolution. Maybe they were trying to show evolution, you know? Right?
Yeah, I'm looking at them again, and it's like if you took Demons and if you took Kamen Rider Demons and Kamen Rider Live and threw them into Kiva, I probably would go, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, they were there. I don't remember them, but I guess they were there.
Right, yeah.
But
I'm looking like all the are just they're all just fucking everywhere, right? Like fucking like you show me, I'm like I would have wanted to say, oh no, that's a guy from fucking. Is that the second birth? Is that the new?
I mean, I would have said I would also say that it looks like fucking like it should be in Forza.
Right? Yeah, like it's like all these designers just doesn't make sense in the end of it what they were all going for.
Yeah.
Right? Like they all look like they belong in different shows, right? I think I kept to the weird smiley grin aesthetic, right? And they gave them, and they all gave everywhere like some type of like not grin, but like some type of like smile.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I liked the splatter paint pattern of evil because it did make it seem more of like, again, going with the sort of like, if we were just going with demon motif, sort of like it gives evil more, like Kamen Rider Evil, more of a villainous, dark, graffiti sort of look, you know, or like Ghost Flames or something like that.
Yeah.
But then once we get to sure, Demons, it's a spider. Ooh, spoopy spider. Ooh, okay. Ooh, yeah. And then we get to Jian, and it goes, well, I mean, I guess that's a snake. I guess.
Right.
I can kind of see that, but there's nothing really, like, so much of the motif seemed like it was trying to go on
animals, right? I think it was like
demons or monsters, you know, but Kamen Rider, right? Because the whole thing with Deadmans and everything was that they're demons, and so the big ass like T-Rex grin from.
Right, I think I said it like in one of my when I was like how they should have done like a pass and like show that the fucking FENIX are like futuristic looking, right?
Yeah.
Like with their futuristic design, then we have all the fucking weekends. We're like, oh hey, we're using the shittiest driver we found in the.
Well, yeah, that's the thing is even between the two Libera driver users, right? Because the other thing is, for the most part, people are using different drivers, right? So no one else uses the Revice driver.
Yeah.
Other than Ikki and Vice. The two-side driver is just between Daiji, like Daiji and Kagura, but it's really just Daiji, right?
Yeah.
The Libera driver, there's no consistency between, like, truly, really, between Aguilera and Jian's, like, designs. And then when you get to Demons, it's like, it kind of is similar, but it really doesn't work. Like, there's really not that much other than, like, color inclusion, and the color between Demons and Over Demons does not carry over. Like, the color scheme does not work the same.
Yeah.
And then once it becomes, like, the Veil driver, it's like, okay, Veil looks like Over Demons, but Over Demons looks more like Veil than Demons, even though it's supposed to be the same driver, but
using the veil stamp. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like the aesthetic, like everyone just fucking ends on it. And then you get to Juga, which is like, oh wait, boy, this just looks like a fucking Devil's Driver.
Yeah, and then Juga shows up with, again, like, that's technically a 5th, 6th driver. It's Revice driver, Two-Side driver, Reba driver, Demon's driver, Veil driver, which is technically different, and then the Juga driver, or Chimera driver turned into a Juga driver.
Right, yeah. It's just absolutely like how, but the aesthetic of this just made no sense. Like, right, like, hey, I hope geeks have like a common aesthetic among their.
I sure hope that they keep it down to the bare minimum and don't have anything else other than one little tiny bit in the center, and just everything else is just super generic, and it's all about what you throw onto it.
Right, but yeah, I think that's like my other bit I just want to say, right? Because everything else, like, because the writer form they just ended up being fucking. They really just like there's just your generic. Here's the gimmick form that we don't even bother explaining. Like, fool, check this out. Here's the Mammoth driver. It's based on Den-O. What's Den-O? Don't worry about it, Ikki.
You'll figure it out
someday, hopefully. Right? Hey, maybe you should have some memory. Hey, maybe when you lose your memory, you should replace those memories with you watching Kamen Rider Den-O, right? Or or watching all these other Kamen Rider season exits, right? Like the form. I think the gimmick forms were just fucking underutilized, right? That they never ended up doing because they're like they like, right? And I feel like they were trying to explain it at some point, and then they just gave up and like then like what you said earlier about like, hey, look, we're at episode 16. We still haven't explained what the fuck, why these Vice stamps are based on past Kamen Rider. Are we gonna explain at this point? Like, just forget about it. Just fucking say they exist and don't worry about it, and hope no one ever questions it throughout the season, right?
Yeah. So I think with all that, it's just I think it's time to rate it. I'll start at a 10. Considering everything with the plot, which is a lot. But giving points for some ambitious choices. I think I can value that they tried. They definitely were
right. I mean, they had to work with the restriction of COVID,
Yeah,
right? Because they said that, right?
And they
like,
did.
They said like one of the biggest reasons why they literally decided to change at the last minute the story structure. Like, oh hey, COVID's the thing, right? You gotta keep it with family, right?
And
your
they
family's together during.
And
COVID,
they did better handling it with COVID than they did with Saber or 01. I would say, I think it's a solid 7 out of 10. I think it's got its weak points, it's got its strong points, but you can't ignore that it had its problems.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I would agree. Because the problem is like when you watch, like it's realized it's every season where they made that you have to like, hey, be sure to watch the fucking Veil Legacy, or else the show's not gonna make fucking a lot of fucking sense, right? Check out all these expensive. If you thought the expensive media in Saber was bad, check out the expensive media we're doing for this, right? One of them just fucking ends up never becoming relevant ever again, even though they tried to make it, right? Because that's what we're talking about, right? You can definitely tell that Revice the Mystery was made when they were still thinking about, hey, is this a legacy season?
Yeah,
we already wrote all the script, and I don't think we can just fucking throw these scripts away. I think we actively should probably just film this, right?
What's interesting is, I'll say, at present, and potentially even in the future, we still haven't seen anything about side story stuff or expanded media stuff for geeks. So, are they going to learn that people just went, no, that's not okay?
Boy, when did the mystery air? Aired on January, so okay, that was in January. Okay.
I think we were at about episode 15 or 13 or something at that point.
Yeah. I'm looking at it, but Saber had its expansive media early the fuck on, but Saber had to work on. But Saber had to work on under fucking COVID, like we said. But yeah.
Yeah.
But I think so. Yeah. So I think I would rate fucking Revice as a 6.7 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, I would have gone lower. I just wanted to give it a. I think if I felt like it gets the same rating as 01, but I think that it should take that. I'm saying that slightly as an insult, simply for the fact that 01 had a serious handicap.
Right.
And they didn't have that handicap as much. And
right, because they had like a whole year of production. But
they had a whole year of production. They didn't stop it, get interrupted. They didn't take time to do like recap episodes because they were trying to scrambling to figure stuff out. But they instead
decided to literally, right? It's like when you have to turn a paper. Like, all right, I wrote the paper. I'm ready to submit this. The portal closes in 10 minutes.
One person gets a C because they turned in a half-finished paper, but their like parents died in the middle of the semester, and another person gets a C because they just turned in a shitty project or a half-finished
and then
project.
Revice is literally like you picked out your topic, you did a research, but then at the last minute you're like, I'm not gonna write about this. I'm just gonna fucking write a new topic, right? Look, I may have done my report on the manatees, but you know what's cool? The stingray. And what did I research about the stingray? They killed Steve Irwin, and that's it.
And I've been both of those people, and it's not fun.
Yeah, that's like the best way for this story. Like it's sort of like from what we know from production, they clearly had an original plan, but then they literally just at the last to just change it for some reason, right?
Yeah.
Even though I don't know why no one brought it up earlier. Hey, I'm gonna see to that Toei thought 1 year, hey, look, this pandemic thing. 1 year, it's like what Florida did, it's going to be a year, it's going to be over, all right? We're going to reopen the state soon, right? I legitimately think that's what Toei thought when they were doing it. And then as Revice, they're like, booster, what's that?
Another one.
We already got one. We have to get a second one now, right? That's like the best way for you to analogize Revice. Like they clearly had an idea, but they decided to no. Nah, forget it. I was like, it's like building a set in Monster. Like, I've been farming for like 3 hours for this set. Oh wait, this set looks way cooler. I'm gonna switch sets. Right?
It's also like, hey, I'm gonna build this set because it looks cool, and then going, wait. I can just make it look cool on its own, and I don't have to. I can just layer the armor, and I don't have to actually waste a bunch of parts on making shit armor. Shit, fuck, fuck, damn, shit. Why did I spend all these parts on this?
Yeah, but that's ultimately how I feel about Revice. It's a show with good ideas, but they really didn't know how to do it by the end, right? Or they just went off the rails when they were writing, and they hope that no one asks questions about it by the end, and they just hope everyone goes along with it, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. Hey, look, Tariq. Hey, look, Kamen Rider Revice is premiering next week. I can't wait for the first episode.
Yeah, who knows what's happening? The first episode, and I'm sure that it won't be the end of another season.
Right? Look, Gates will save the Kamen Rider franchise,
I mean, from what I predict, I think people are really gonna like it and really take to it and start saying, wow, this is the best fucking goddamn Kamen Rider series in a while.
That Kamen Tycoon is a real... I bet that is a cool character.
Yeah, he's going to be there the whole time. But also, boy, I really think that people are going to love Kamen Rider Geats so much that they think, wow, this is great. There's no way it could possibly fuck up. Despite everything that we just talked about for the last, 2 hours, where it's like, but they could still fuck this up, though. They could still definitely fuck this up.
Right. Or is that how we're ending it on?
I think that's how we're ending it on, is like, hey, you can still fuck this up, Toei.
Alright. Coronavirus is still a thing. Watch this very best. Get your shots. Boosters a thing now. Okay, thanks. Bye.